ever since I was born, I've been alive. You know what? This whole daily life thing is really overrated with all that eating and sleeping and drinking and Facebooking you gotta do on a daily basis just to survive. It's really tedious. That's why I'm a fan of film and video. It allows me to lose myself in the happenings of others. But it got to the point in which I was no longer happy just viewing. I had to be the very thing being viewed. So I set off to make a movie. Hey, if this nematode can do it, then why can't I? Then I learned filmmaking requires a crew and lots of money and worst of all, hard work. Ugh. Fortunately, I found a medium that speaks to me. Video blogging. Sure, it still requires hard work and effort, unless you half-ass it, which I totally have. A year ago this month, I released a tour de force to an eagerly awaiting public, the first episode of Memory Lane. This 6.5-minute masterpiece went on to win the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and it once melted Leonard Maltin's bearded face. Or was that just a dream I had? Or a premonition? Anyways, this being the 25th episode of Memory Lane and my 1-year anniversary, it's time I take a look back at my very first episode. The obscure goes first. Player 1, start. But I can't do this alone. I'm gonna need help from one of the most charismatic and talented video producers on the net. Hi, the obscure. Hi, the obscure. I guess we're stuck doing this dumb crossover. We might as well get this over with. What are we looking at today?
Your brain is made of tubes and wires that soak up images and sounds like a multimedia sponge. As you
What happened to my voice between then and now? Did I go through puberty? Again?
So let's not show in the shadows. Let's not hide from the echoes.
You sound like William Shatner with asthma. And now you're turning into a werewolf montage. I've really been wearing the same thing for the past year? Yeah, I've been wondering about that. How often do you wash that shirt? What shirt? I'm always changing my style to adjust to the latest trends. Just like I totally adjusted my lighting when the sun went down.
Board games were invented by a board guy, hence the name.
It took you all day to write that punchline, didn't it? Well, that episode wasn't necessarily about being funny. It was about being informative.
One of the all-time standards is chess. In that competition, white goes first.
This episode isn't informative. It's boring. Do something funny. Make me laugh.
Ninjas are not white. Except for that one guy.
That was a movie clip. Movie clip does not equal joke. Of course they do.
Of course!
See? That scary doorman agrees. Just because it's funny in one thing doesn't mean it's funny in another thing.
I'm a wild pig!
Hi, what was the context for that again? I don't remember.
In Candyland, the youngest player goes first, ensuring that they have a victory in a game whose sole deciding factor is based on a head start.
Now you're riffing on Candyland? Whoa, I'd hate to be Milton Bradley right now. Oh, and now you're talking about video games. Please. The last video game you played was that crappy little Tetris game on your graphing calculator. Hey, I rocked that Tetris game. I was Captain TI-85, the calculator master. Where's my crappy Saturday morning cartoon? Oh wait, here's my mission statement.
We'll look at all the forgotten things. The great gem swept under the proverbial rug. And some things that were forgotten for a good reason. It's kinda like my specialty.
Hey, you know what else was forgotten for a good reason? This episode. In retrospect, that really sucked. The timing was off, the script was foul, the lighting... Ugh, what lighting? So, what inspired you, me? How does this even work? What inspired us to make this show in the first place? Well, I just wanted something with a bigger appeal. You see, this whole internet video thing is hard to tap into if you're not a cute girl on a ukulele. When I set out to do this series, I aspired to create something along the lines of Orson Welles' F for Fake, a free-flowing documentary that ambled around a central theme that eventually came together at the end. And I wanted it to focus on aspects of our childhood, things burning in the back of our subconscious that built the foundations for the people we are today. I suppose you can see that idea vaguely floating about this episode, but it's all so sloppy and amateurish, almost unwatchable. Maybe I'm not the genius I thought I was. You didn't look all that coherent. What were you on? Life. I was high on life. See, I told you living's overrated. I suppose there's nothing left for me to do but to go die in some godforsaken desert. No, stop. You have so much to live for. Can I have your bread maker when you die? It's your bread maker too. Oh yeah. I'll make some bread. Farewell, bright and shiny world. Ow! The hell's this? The Simpsons, the complete second season. This is one of my favorites. Bart gets an F, Itchy and Scratchy and Marge, Three-Eyed Fish. This is a good season. Although I hated season 1. Honestly, would never have predicted that The Simpsons would become the success that it is. The first season of The Simpsons was badly animated, poorly performed, and the stories were a real mess, showing that the writers and the actors had difficulty in transitioning the show from a series of short sketches to a full half-hour slot. But it had some funny moments and showed real promise. The network and the audience agreed. Thus, we got a second and more furnished season. I guess the lesson here is, don't trust the British. Don't get down on yourself when your work isn't top-notch. Entertainers and artists are always in a state of improvement and continual perfection. That's what makes it such a frustrating field. The final product could always have been better. And my God, people love to point out your flaws to you, whether you like it or not. And that's the job of the critic, the reviewer, and the commentator, to find the faults, celebrate the perceived perfections, and judge the artwork on its balance of positive and negative aspects. It's the job of the artists to take the word of the critics as ideas, rather than guides, to remain their own entity while streamlining their craft. There will always be imperfections in whatever you make. A work of art without flaws is a work of art not of this world. So I'm not gonna let my shortcomings a year ago keep me from doing this a year from now. I will continue to pollute your internet with my killer content.
Just never talk about film strips again.
So from the basement of my steam-powered blood pump, I'd like to thank you for watching Season 1 of my hedonistic hullabaloo. I still don't understand how web shows have seasons. It's been a fun year of celebrating and riffing on movies and TV shows and forgotten miscellanea of our distant memories. And you can bet there will be a lot more media madness. Next time it's a music review. This is a commentary of the commentary I did last year. I was really high when I recorded this. I'm really high again. Not on live on PCP. But I actually died a few hours ago. This is just gas escaping from my corpse. Where's my favorite part? Ah, here it is. Good old Preview Guide channel. Wait, what happens if I comment on a commentary? Does that just create a nexus in the universe that destroys all? Wait.